Hello and welcome to...
Jesus fucking Christ.
Fucking Christ.
That was very
Why?
loud. I have to agree with Ames. That was very loud.
Too much.
Take two, then. Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 169.
Nice.
Ow.
This week we will be looking at the House of Quark and Equilibrium.
Nice.
I'm Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames.
Caitlin.
And me, Jake.
Jake loves going last.
First up in the House of Quark. Business is slow at Quark's bar because a bunch of people have left the DS9 because, oh shit, the Dominion could be here any day now with their friggin' cockroach-ass looking ships and Odo-ass looking leaders. But there is a drunk-ass Klingon there who's all like, I'm out of money!
I don't remember there being that much ass in this episode, but you've described a lot of ass.
I'm out of money! And Quark is all, I'm gonna stand up to him. And then Quark is like, oh god, no, I'm not. He's a Klingon. But then the Klingon's like, I'm gonna stab you anyway. And they grapple and fall. And the Klingon lands on his own knife. And Quark is like, oh shiz. And then, everyone's gawking while security's there cleaning up the mess. And Quark goes, oh ho, methinks me sees a chance to make some profit. So he embellishes the tale. It was a daring hand-to-hand battle, self-defense, and people swarm into the bar to hear the story and to drink. And he's like, yes.
I like both of these things.
Yeah. And then, Brahm is all, but brother, oh, what if something happens? Like, well, then we'll tell the truth when I need to. And sure enough, 2 days later, a big angry Klingon is all like, I was his brother. And Quark's like, oh god, I will tell you the truth. It would be terrible if he died in an accident. I would be livid. He died a warrior's death! So he thinks everything's all fine and dandy. But then a lady Klingon shows up. And she's all, I'ma stab you. And he's all like, ah! And she's like, you didn't beat my husband in honorable combat. And he's like, well, no. It was an accident. But the brother, it's not his brother, it's his rival. And now...
Oh, I thought he was his brother.
No. He wanted someone to say that he died a warrior's death, because the thing is,
Klingon culture is fucked.
Because, a woman can't lead a house, but because this guy had permanent whiskey dick, he didn't have a male heir. And she was like...
Whiskey dicks?
Yeah,
yes,
whiskey dicks.
Sorry, whiskey dicks.
Does that mean he also has whiskey stones?
You ever heard the term whiskey dick?
No, of course I have.
I haven't, but I don't
It
care.
basically just means you're such a drunkard you can't get an erection.
Have you not heard of whiskey stones?
They're those
Fucking using rocks instead of ice.
that you freeze.
I was just
You
And
did a shitty job!
Where are the whiskey balls?
I don't know, it's where they store the whiskey pea.
Definitely
Anyway.
where the pee is stored.
So, the whole thing was, he didn't have a male heir, and had he died a not warrior's death, this somehow could have allowed for a special dispensation, where Gowron could be like, you know what?
Look at my eyes.
The woman can lead the house.
Dude, I was so excited when Gowron showed
Glory
up.
to you and your house!
Exactly. So, Quark goes... No, he's kidnapped by the wife to go to Kronos. And, there's this whole thing. And the short version is that eventually Quark realizes, wait a minute. He's looking at all the books and this and that. He's like...
Don't forget, he gets married to her.
Yes, they get married.
Non-consensually.
Forcibly, yes. But he works out, wait a minute. All your, husband's investments and everything went wrong because they were being manipulated by his rival. And Quark stands up with, he basically gives everyone an Excel spreadsheet and is trying to explain the finances of everything. And the Klingons are confused as fuck. And Gowron's all like, what the fuck is this? And the guy's like, he's a liar. He's...
Wait, you use funds and math to conquer your foe instead of weapons and fists?
Yeah, and he's all like, Quark's a liar. Like, oh, Quark, you must respond with combat. And Quark's like, fucking bye. And he goes to flee. Yeah, at this point, the fake brother has found the real brother insofar that he has kidnapped Rom.
Whoops.
Who will be like, he did die in an accident, so I should be able to take over the house and yada yada. Rom and Quark are gonna flee And the wife is all like, I thought there was more to you. And Quark actually has a feel bad. He's like, I have a cunning plan. And he gets up there and he's going to bat left. And then he flings it aside. And he's like, we all know I wouldn't stand a chance against you. So, fine, I'm going to die here, but it's going to be an execution. Can you do that? Can you just kill a man in cold blood? And the guy's like, I totally can. But before he can do anything, Gowron's like, whoa! Whoa. If you're willing to do that, maybe you did use math. and well, he was like, not mine. And
maybe you did use math.
And so they disbar him from being a Klingon. They do the cross your arms and turn back, that thing. And Gowron's all, you know what, lady, you can run your house. And he's like, wow, a brave Ferengi, that's weird.
Who'd have thought, or whatever.
And then there's a quickie divorce and a kiss. And then
there's a quickie, then a divorce.
Yeah.
What was the divorce? Like, she just slapped him and that's how divorce works?
And shouted something in Klingon, yes.
Kapla.
So then, he's there at the bar and it's kind of empty again and he's feeling like and Rom's he's more to life than profit. And he's like, respect, yeah.
Is there?
But then Rom is like, come on, tell me again. He's like, oh, my brother's impressed with me, isn't that? And it's weirdly sweet, even though Quark's going to dock his pay.
Don't forget the O'Brien Keiko plot.
You spent a very long time describing that. You completely left out the B plot.
Yeah, speaking of people with whiskey dick.
No, apparently he was fine. The B plot.
She had whiskey clam, though. So.
Wow. That sounds disgusting.
Because
Thanks.
all the families have left, Keiko's closed the school and she's bored, and O'Brien feels bad. And eventually he's all like, oh, you should go on this expedition to Bajor to look at this mountain.
And take the fucking kid, I don't want to look after her.
Yeah, there we go. And she does, and that's...
Smart move on
Bye,
the writer's part.
Keiko.
An excuse for them to use Keiko less. We'll still see her, and the kid.
Boo.
Yeah, they get rid of her for 6 months so that Home Meany can do movies when he needs to. We won't need her around. And B, so that they can focus more on their Miles-Julian relationship. without the bitch wife in the way.
No one gave a fuck about Keiko, so...
Especially Miles.
Everyone's happy she's dead.
So, she's not dead.
She's not dead.
We'll never see her again.
Out of the picture.
So this B-plot, which I admit I kind of forgot to mention because I forgot it was this episode.
And because it was such great news.
I think they've done much better with Keiko in DS9. They've written her better.
You're right. They just wrote her off. It was great.
The problem is they also wrote her in a way that there's nothing for her to do.
Exactly.
Even if we decide, okay, she'll be the school marm. That's a terrible character, and that doesn't fit what they wanted to get out of this fucking character.
No, it fits more with the whole it's the frontier thing, but still, no one tunes into Star Trek to watch School
Little House
Marmon.
on the Prairie.
Yeah, but I will say that I'm watching there, and I'm just like, yeah, it's nice seeing them they're getting along, and everything's happy and all as happy as it can be, given the fact she's desperately bored.
And desperately boring, to be fair.
But I do hate it whenever they're trying to be romantic, because I just sit there and I feel like whenever they're trying to be sexy with each other, I just feel like I walked in on somebody's parents. And I looked it up. I'm about the age Rosalind Chow was at the time, and Cole Meany's only in his early 40s, but I still feel like I've walked in on someone's parents. It's just so I can't know.
I'm pretty sure the character of Keiko in the show plays the same role that in-universe Keiko played at the Cardassian trial, which is...
She's there to look pretty and cry?
She's there to be sad when Miles gets abused, which is often.
Although I did like that, Julian actually was... It started off sort of weirdly chauvinistic, but wound up very correct.
Yeah, it really felt like he was going to be like, we know the real problem is you're not giving her the dickin'.
But he's this gives you 2 days, that'll get you to Arboretum, 2 months. And you're like, wow, that's a weird calculation. But then he gets into the real crux of the problem, which is you're asking her to turn her career into a hobby. It's like, wow, that went from shitty to insightful. Well done, Doctor.
You're asking her to continue being married to you. That's the
Miles.
real problem.
P.S. I kept calling him Brian O'Miles last night. And I knew it wasn't right, but I kept trying to call him Miles. So finally I just gave into it and was like, all right.
Smiley. Curly.
I am glad that this means now the only children left on DS9 are Jake and Nog. No more children. Because all the Bajoran families have left.
I'm sure they'll break that out sooner than later.
I hope not. They're miserable.
So anyway, that was the B-plot.
It was a good B-plot.
Was it
And I actually did
we got rid of Keiko and Molly?
Well, yeah, that, but it was also just kind of sweet to see O'Brien, not just thinking about technical journals
It's
on
so-
vacation.
It's really weird, though, because every time he enters a room, someone in the room says, wife troubles Miles? And he's like, how do you all know? And they're like, well, it's you. That's just always right.
We just
so yes.
assume that it's the case. Yeah.
Oh god, there was that weird fucking moment, too, where Miles goes to Cisco asking for permission to turn that empty, broken room into the Arboretum, and Dax is like, oh, we girls will get on out of here, and Kira's like, what is some weird human shit? But then Dax is like, come on.
I don't remember this part.
Yeah, no, it was weird. It was like...
Have you noticed that your boobs feel perkier?
But yes, meanwhile, Klingons and Ferengi.
They're fun. They're very fun.
It's a good mix.
Grilka is great.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the wife?
No, she
That's
was
the wife.
fabulous. I quite enjoyed her.
Probably has no idea how to run the house now that all the finances have been destroyed, but...
Well, Klingons
And
don't
Quark is
worry.
left.
Klingons don't worry too much about that shit, apparently.
Yeah, clearly.
Will she now inherit Degor's house now that he is dishonored?
No, I don't know.
Where does his house go?
It's a good question.
It sounded like he didn't have much of a house.
I don't know. He was a big rival of Kozak.
They
so-
said the family was powerful.
Mm.
She had her own knife.
Did she?
Yeah, it wasn't like just a recycled, like old... Like, it had the little pop-out side blades like they all do, but it was like a very different handle than we've seen before. Wow, look at that. Cool. Built a whole new knife for her.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is an instance of an episode which is primarily a comedy episode, being also a very solid episode.
Yeah. It's a successful comedy episode because whilst you look at it and you're like, yes, most things the Ferengi do are funny. Most things the Klingons do are accidentally funny.
Yeah.
But this ends up working because they're actually like working with the characters' strengths instead of just being like, everything the Ferengi do is this and everything the Klingons do is that.
Well, and it was this whole scheme that they could only uncover because they brought in an outsider who could go like, wow, you've met the one Klingon who does Ferengi-esque scheming and none of you assholes would have noticed because numbers bore you. But luckily Quark showed up and wait a second. He was very in his element.
I like that no matter where Quark finds himself, there's never a woman he doesn't want to try to fuck. The scene where he, like, thinks they're getting close, so he's got a hand on her leg, and she's just like, because I like you, I'm not going to tear your arm off and kill you.
That was, her read on that was fucking amazing.
It was perfect. I was so pleased with that.
Yeah.
Especially because the way they did, because you didn't know the way it was shot, you couldn't see his hand, so you don't realize until she starts saying it.
And her tone didn't break a bit.
Not
she
a
was
bit.
still
No, that was bang
so,
on.
What was shit going on with her teeth? Did you guys notice? Like, I know
Just
that
Klingon
Klingon.
teeth.
Well, no, I know, but it was almost like she had like a gold grill on top of her bad.
No,
Klingon
they just
teeth.
the top teeth are usually pretty badly stained on Klingons.
Yeah, it was like distractingly shiny. I was like, why does she have a row of gold teeth?
I did read that Armin Shimmerman, who was just a doll of a person, actually like stepped up to both Robert O'Reilly, because this is his first appearance on DS9, so he knows that none of these people, they're all new actors to him, and also to Mary Kay Adams, who played Grilka, being like, this is just a couple of days of filming for you, and you don't know who any of us are. And he actually goes out of his way to like make sure they're comfortable and say, if you need anything, come to me. And he's just the sweetest guy.
Was he actually trying to fuck Grilka in real life?
Robert O'Reilly.
Yes.
Fine. I mean, whichever. I mean, listen, maybe both. Why not both?
Yeah, I'm glad we get more Gowron because he's just I like.
I
Gowron
was so
whenever he's on screen.
excited. I literally texted you, was like, Gowron! I was so thrilled. I love him. And I don't know if it's because by the end of TNG, I just thought he was cool because he was cool, or if it's because we played that game where he was some other Klingon, or if it's because his fucking crazy eyes pop up on everything on Star Trek shitposting. But either way, my heart holds so much love for Gowron, and so when I saw him, I was like, oh, is that Gowron I see?
I mean, credit to him and all the other Klingons. They're all just standing there looking so confused at those pads. Like, you see them all gesturing. Like,
If
what
you
the
look
fuck
at
is he
sheet
talking
6, you'll see. And like,
They're like, we haven't figured out how to turn this thing on yet.
Seriously.
it sounded like me trying to explain how we use this spreadsheet at work to like track students and shit. I'm like, well, if you go to this tab and you check out this color scheme, you'll see how. And it's like they don't understand. Just stop. Stop. Our brains hurt.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just a great juxtaposition. You know, the Klingons are in, like, way over their head. And at first you think Quark is, but actually he's in his realm somehow.
So I we don't get to see what makes him come back, other than I should probably do the right thing because Grilka's hot. When he and Rom are talking about how we should leave, even though it's, the cowardly thing. But we're cowards, right? Right? How the fuck did he know this scheme would work?
He didn't. He's a gambler.
Yeah.
And
But he gambled with... I don't think Quark tends to gamble with his life.
Not normally, but...
He would gamble with Rom's life.
Yeah, no, it's a little... Yeah, no, there was... For whatever reason, maybe because she's hot, just... This woman being like, I thought you were different. Just, because we've said before, like, there's these moments where Quark does the right thing, and that needled him in the do the right thing lobe. And, he had no guarantee it would work. He's lucky it did. It was a good scheme.
Yeah, because what would the options have been at that point?
Get killed.
Yeah, well, it would have been get killed. So either the Gaul does what he was going to do anyway and kills him,
Yep.
or he's honorable and says, I won't fight the Ferengi.
Yeah.
Or what happens.
Or Quark flees, and then later on, Klingons hunt him down and kill him.
No, I don't think they would have hunted him down.
Yeah, they wouldn't have cared.
But I don't know. I think that...
Would he have to... He'd forfeit the house then, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the house
he-
would have been
that-
gone.
Yeah,
Alright,
he
then
didn't-
Grilka hunts him down and kills him.
That might have happened.
Mm.
Or their terrible, terrible butler. Which, like, I don't even know, but there's, like, cobwebs everywhere. It's like, look.
Maybe that's what they prefer. Maybe their butlers put cobwebs up. You don't know.
It's like, look, I know you're broke, but the butler's still there. Make the motherfucker pick up a feather duster.
Was that actor in Gamesters of Triskelion?
Yes.
He was the big vampire looking dude, right?
What?
I didn't look up which one he was. I didn't even write it down, but I happened to remember noticing that and being like, oh, I've run out of room on my card to write new facts down. But yeah.
That's random as fuck. Wait, so the butler was...
He was. I was like, this guy is so fucking familiar, and then I was like,
Holy shit. I didn't even... Wow. No, he didn't set off anything for me. Well played.
Who was this?
The
guy who
Klingon
played the
butler.
Oh, really?
I don't even remember the Klingon butler, so.
Answers.
Like, it was like Grilka's...
Joseph Ruskin.
Yeah. I just don't remember what he looks like.
Oh. I didn't even remember the character at all. It's like, how?
The name Ruskin sounds familiar.
Yeah, it kind of does.
He was.
Yeah,
That
holy
dude.
shit.
Listen live while we
He-
IMDb something.
He
It was-
looked
it was-
old then.
I know.
This out.
It was really his voice that was. I was
No,
like,
I know. I mean,
this
but
guy-
we could, and that's the important part.
Yeah, we'll have to share his photo
Oh, yeah,
What
online.
did he
Check
look
him
like
out.
as a Klingon?
what?
What did he look like as a Klingon?
Lumpy.
Great.
Yeah.
Klingon.
He looks very different, but his voice is the same.
Ridged.
Yeah, he doesn't look very
This.
much. There's the side by side. He doesn't look very much the same, but he sounds.
Oh, the nose. Even under the makeup, he's got a very fascinating nose.
Let's talk about the episode some more.
It's
Yes.
good.
So, we know Kozak died by accident.
Yep.
And then Odo comes in and he's questioning folks, and Degal comes in and is questioning folks, and Grilka comes in and questions folks. Or, not questions, attacks Quark.
Yes.
Doesn't Odo have the bar under surveillance still, and couldn't he just check?
Did you?
You'd think.
Yeah, but do you remember when he was like, "So you're still going to stand by that story and let his family come kill you"? He probably was very well aware of what was happening. He was just like, "Good, that little bastard is reaping what he's sown."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Odo's not jumping to his fucking defense. He knows he's fucking lying.
he knew his line. I mean, he didn't need the video evidence to know either. Like he knew there was
No,
no.
of course
way
not.
I don't know. Do
Quark-
you think Odo would bring it up though as a way to fuck with Quark?
Yes.
To be like, you're getting all these crowds now that they think you're this famous gunslinger or whatever the hell it is you think you are now.
Yeah, it's the man who shot Liberty Valance.
Yeah, how about if I come in and I know the truth and I could get this place back to not having customers again?
Maybe
I
that's
don't
what
think
it
he
was.
wants to do
was...
that. I think he just wants to jerk Quark around.
It could be something he was thinking he'd save in his back pocket for something eventually.
A rainy day in space.
Yeah.
I have a great note that just says Gowron looks surprised. Oh wait, that's
Yeah, the scene when they were all reading their spreadsheets was brilliant.
it is brilliant.
Column J.
You know, it's true. No one really understands Excel.
No.
So
Except Quark.
Yeah, I like how Quark's solution to the problem was just make a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
follow the money, see where it goes.
You gotta wonder, though, how many Klingons have gotten away with this sort of scheme, because most Klingons don't know how to interpret that stuff. Or rather, can't be bothered to interpret
Well, really,
that stuff.
it's. I'm starting to figure out. So, like, I don't think all Klingons are like the Klingons that we see. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think that's just that the government is.
Well, yeah, that's the ones on the council. Like
they have an expression Maka, M-A apostrophe, or M-Q apostrophe G-A. Make Kronos great again.
I don't like Jake.
God
that's his,
damn it.
That's Gowron's slogan. Maka!
I mean, you look at the Klingons, and I feel like every 5 minutes I was like, that's a Klingon rule that makes no sense. Like, you can't challenge somebody without just cause. And like, these are Klingons. They never have
they
just
can.
cause.
Not in the council room.
Yeah.
Just there.
They
Everywhere
go into
else.
the hallway, challenge without just cause.
Yeah.
Come back in again.
No, that's exactly
Well,
it.
yeah, because there's this veneer of honor, right?
what it is they just have a very broad definition of just cause.
That's true.
Not a lot falls outside of it, but every so often.
Yeah, but this guy was already known to be a scumbag, so they weren't going to give him any breaks.
Mm.
I was wondering, like, so it's been years, I think, since, like...
I think it's only been 1 week.
It's been a while since they used the Klingon throne room set.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty impressive set. So do they just have that thing in storage?
No, I was reading about that. They rebuilt half of it because it takes up so much room, and because they're already out of room for new things for Deep Space Nine now that they have the Defiant.
Well, they have
and
the
need
Defiant,
those
and,
sets.
the Promenade must be fucking enormous.
Yeah, but they rebuilt half of it, did all the scenes, and then built the other half of it and
Oh,
did
God.
those scenes.
Wow.
Yeah, the sets for Deep Space Nine, I was thinking about this. So, like, the Promenade, I'm pretty sure, is one set that includes the Promenade and Quarks.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it is, right? Because we saw that shot where
The
he
traveling
ran
shot,
around.
yeah.
The,
Yeah. So it's a whole 2-story set.
It's enormous.
It's wild.
It's really big. And then you got Ops, which is another enormous set, which probably also includes Cisco's office.
Yep.
So you have 2 sets that are just fucking huge.
I remember seeing a drawing once of like original concept art for the Promenade, and they wanted it to have a monorail as well.
Ooh, I want to have a
Fancy.
monorail.
Like it was gonna have like up on the upper like right or something. It was gonna be like the idea of being like to get to other parts of the ring, you would take this monorail because it was so big.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
That said, I do think they shoot the show in such a way to make it look
Even
bigger than it is.
Oh yeah.
I was reading, and I didn't bring this up last week, but now that we're talking about it, like when they built the Defiant bridge is very hard to shoot in just because of the way it's shaped. Like there's nowhere to roll a camera in there. And they were like, okay, we have to come up with new ways to shoot what we want to do in here because we accidentally limited ourselves.
Whoops.
Fuck.
Well, on
That is somehow
TNG,
appropriate for
they
the
just
Defiant.
They just removed walls. In TNG, they would just remove walls if they needed to.
I
put a
think
camera.
all the things that they wanted to work around were things that were permanent, like all the
consoles.
the consoles and the stuff that the chairs are on are permanent fixtures that you can't. They have to go around, not through.
Yeah, a big reason for that is that they were filming with large film cameras.
Yeah.
Just film everything with drones now.
Well, they also like now they would be using the small digital
Right.
cameras. That the problem with the film is it's just so fucking bulky.
Yeah.
That's also why they were able to upscale TNG was because they were filming.
Yeah. I do love the idea though now of just having a bunch of actors on a cramped set, but everyone's got like a fucking drone just sitting right in front of them with a camera.
I think they should start filming shows with body cams on the actors.
That'd be cool. What do they do for Peep Show?
I think there was just a camera that was playing whatever the POV.
But sometimes
character
you would
was.
see like their arms out.
Yeah, I think there was somebody standing next to the camera.
They could have occasionally just had
Doing
GoPros
this.
if it was late enough.
No, well, maybe towards the end. But that show started in like 2003.
That early, wow. It's older than
I know. You look at what's his fuck, Mitchell and Webb. They look like fucking babies at the beginning now.
I feel like no matter what, David Mitchell just always looks the same to me. I've seen more recent images of him.
Also,
David
I'm pretty
Mitchell.
sure that whole show was shot on video, though. So it
Yeah, the
would've-
Brits use video a lot.
Yeah, so it would have been a smaller camera, so they probably could have.
Just had an actor behind it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like they do in the porns.
that's right.
Yikes.
They do.
I feel like there's less to talk about with this episode. It's
because it was
it's
good.
concise
It
and
didn't
good.
suck. It was
Well, and
a
there
great
there
episode.
wasn't some convoluted. It's a very straightforward plot.
The only thing
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
we got rid of
like,
Keiko.
the only thing I didn't like was the forced wedding, but like, you know, whatever, he killed her husband and then fucked her over, so at least she was able to just as quickly unmarry him.
I did like that she was sort of trying to scheme, and eventually realized she was making it up as she was going along.
You don't have a plan. You've run out of ideas.
You should have married a Romulan. They're
No.
full of ideas.
Yeah, but theirs are just so fucking complicated. And I'm like, so what are we doing?
We're
All
gonna
the pla-
wait.
Yeah, it's like, all the plans are in motion. They will bear fruit in a century. Okay, and until then, I'm going to sit here with my fingers deep.
All right, we've cloned your husband. We're raising him in the minds of Moria. When he reaches age, he will return and reclaim his family's title.
In the meantime, who wants to play Monopoly?
That actually does raise a good question, though. Speaking of the last time there was a stupid Klingon plot, I think we need to get, like, t-shirts made that say, where's Duras Jr., or whatever the fucking guy's name was.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, he is long since dead.
Wait, the kid? Like the little kid?
No, the, like, little pissant that the Duras sisters tried to use.
Yeah, the, like, 12-year-old kid.
Well, he was like 20.
He was a teenager.
Okay, he looked like he was
earliest.
about 15.
Yeah. Yeah, he just got dragged away.
Oh yeah, no, they
He's
told
dead.
they told Worf they were gonna let him live, but the minute Worf left, they tore him to shreds.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, no, he is so dead.
That would
To
be a good one
shreds,
for him
you'll
to
say.
come back and do a revenge.
Star Trek, Duras Jr.
Yes.
There's too many. There's too many now, and it's impossible.
But you'd be okay with Star Trek Spot.
Star Trek Spot, yeah, well, obviously. That would just be like an hour every week of a kitten playing. Elron? Yeah,
Elnor.
Elron can help.
No, Elnor.
Elnor.
Elrond is
Elron Hubbard.
Elrond. Oh, well, Elrond also was the King of the Elves or some shit in Lord of the Rings.
Whatever.
Yes, Elrond.
Hi, baby boy.
White cat is
We have
here.
a white
Cats.
cat.
I have one more note.
Mhm.
Bashir would like plomig soup.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Bit of basil there.
What a brat.
I was like, ugh, Basil, get out of here.
He probably had the hots for a Vulcan once and developed a taste for it, but never managed to bag her.
I think he still doesn't even like it. He just eats it on principle.
It's probably really good for you or something.
Yeah, those plomeeks. Tasty.
I just feel like everything Vulcans eat would be really healthy because it's a logical thing.
Healthy and bland.
Yeah, it's logical. It's just nutrients.
So I know that you guys were a little miffed about Keiko liking traditional Japanese music a couple weeks ago.
How do we like that
How do we
traditional Japanese meal that O'Brien made for her?
And her bonsai tree.
Two of them. She had a couple bonsai
Yeah.
trees. Yeah.
I feel like anybody, I feel like bonsai trees are pretty hyped though.
I feel, but
You see a lot of them everywhere.
Well,
Well, I
yeah,
was about to say,
now,
the thing
but
is-
what about
Japanese,
30 years
so they're
ago?
just-
I am.
It was
How
a
about
big thing in the
200
Karate
years
Kid.
from
Well, see, I was
now?
gonna say, like, I'm a little
Fair.
torn because on the one hand, yes, very stereotypical. On the other hand, I do remember, like you say, how about 30 years ago? There was a whole store in one of the malls I went to as a kid that just sold bonsai
Well, there was
trees.
definitely a car.
There was a weird, like, bonsai fad for, like, 10 minutes in the 90s.
I think it was because in Karate Kid 2, there was a big plot around bonsai tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was. So Mr. Miyagi, that was the one where they went to Osaka for the big
I
karate tournament in Osaka.
Only ever seen the first one, and I haven't seen it since I was a
Well,
child.
quick.
I just saw the first one for the first time, and like within the last year.
So
and it was
Daniel and
wonderful.
Mr. Miyagi go to Osaka for a big.
Which is in Japan for the boys and girls at
Yeah,
home.
it's an island next to Japan, and they go there for the big karate tournament. And it's been a very long time since I've seen it, but I seem to remember there being a thing where they had to repel, like Daniel had to rappel off the side of a cliff
Okay.
to trim a bonsai tree that was growing out of the side of the cliff, and it was some like.
Well, that sounds like some fucking stupid Orientalism right there anyway.
Well, the whole Karate Kid franchise is like Orientalism.
Okay, yes, but
wax
also...
on, wax off. This old like
Well,
fucking.
no, but that was just like making it into stupid terms for the stupid kid so he'd get it.
Yeah, but that was also.
Trick him into learning how to do it.
Yeah, I guess.
People going wax on, wax off in a racist Japanese accent is, the fault of the people doing the stupid
True.
accent.
I don't know. I always felt like Mr. Miyagi had that sort of like wise old Asian man
Totally.
thing.
But he also had the I'm a real human being
son
who
of a
has
bitch.
had real suffering thing when you hear about his wife and the internment
true.
camps. And, like, I do think... You're right there?
Yeah, the cat
got
was
you
the
good,
cat
huh?
was the cat was showing his tummy, and normally he likes it, and today he did not.
I'm sorry, dear.
But
yeah, anyway, so I think that... I can't deny that you're right that it was, but also I think it's worth mentioning that at least Mr. Miyagi wasn't...
No, I don't think
just-
he himself was racist character.
Yeah.
But anyway, point is, that movie came out early 90s, I think, or late 80s. And I think that's where, like, Americans were like, ooh, bonsai tree.
Yeah,
And
and
then
I remember they were kind of all over the place in media, at least for a while in the 90s.
There was also, that was also, like, the era of, like, the Three Ninjas and less, like,
That's true.
karate.
And surf
like,
ninjas and ninja
like
turtles.
ninjas. And because when I was a kid, I took a karate class. I sucked.
Oh, me too. Up
I
high,
took
bro.
one. I got a white belt with a yellow stripe. I think that's the second level.
I also made it to the second level. Good job.
And
We're fucking karate masters, in case you wondered.
yeah.
What type
Better
did
than
you
I
do?
have.
Mine was Kempo. I
Mine
think.
was whatever the school offered and after
probably
school
it was probably
class.
Kempo.
So I think there was like a resurgence of like Japanese culture in America at that time.
Isn't karate?
Karate's Japanese.
Is it definitely? Oh, okay. I thought for some reason that it was Chinese. That's because I grew up in New Hampshire and we don't have any idea what races are up there.
Hi, folks. Abusing my power as editor and boredom from being locked inside like everyone else to just fill in that apparently, based on a quick glance at Wikipedia, karate actually originates from the Ryukyu Kingdom, which apparently was in an area now known as Okinawa. So you think, oh yeah, so it is from Japan because Okinawa is part of Japan. But apparently, at the time karate was created, that chain of islands was in fact under the authority of China. And the original name for karate, which I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce because it'll be offensive and bad, meant martial art from China, but is apparently now accepted as a Japanese martial art by whoever in Japan decides those things. So, yeah, just look up karate on Wikipedia. You'll have more there. And now, back to the show. I mean, no different from Disney. Look at Mulan.
What do you mean?
It was just a mishmash of Orientalism, not any single real culture.
Fine, fair enough. Yes.
How's the live action doing?
Its release has been delayed
I was
because
gonna
of
say
the
delayed,
current,
I would guess.
I know Rosalind Chow's in it.
I've heard it's...
Oh, that's right. Star Trek.
Yes! So to answer your question,
Wait,
Jay,
really? Who is she?
I think she's her mother?
I love that. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
She
Anyway,
plays a dragon.
To answer your question, I guess I should
Didn't just get Eddie
specify...
Murphy again?
I guess I should specify that, like, it's not inherently bad to show Keiko experiencing and enjoying her
It's
culture.
not necessarily bad to show Keiko on screen.
But the fact that they, like, kind of
Disagree.
always lean on it is kind of a thing where you're just like, This, I guess, the bonsai tree thing, like I said, is like, yeah, my first thing was like, really? But then I was like, well, it was the 90s, they were kind of everywhere. And I feel like with the meal in this case, because it was Miles making it, he was like, oh, let me make all this shit she said she loved as a kid, and...
Let's not forget, she also made for him a disgusting stew.
Yes.
Let's not forget that when they were quickly fostering that Cardassian boy who didn't want to be a Cardassian boy, she made him Cardassian food.
And
So
it was
She
terrible.
apparently there is a belief in the O'Brien household that everybody always wants to eat the food that their
No,
culture...
she was trying to show him his culture, that kid.
Normally she eats salad.
Yeah.
Also,
But it's
though,
kind of Asian-y looking salad, so...
I don't want to know what that means.
like
but
watercress in it.
Ooh,
after
that's
she
delicious.
came out, after they had done the fuck, that's what I assume they were doing.
They were definitely fucking...
Yeah. She was in a normal robe. She didn't come out in like some kimono shit. So, cause that would have been the ultimate, right?
I didn't notice that, but, I'm almost surprised that they didn't, and I'm glad they didn't.
What?
Just have her in, like,
A
a
kimono?
fucking kimono-style robe, yeah.
Yeah, no, it seemed to just be your standard silky lady robe. It
But
wasn't like...
So I guess there's no good answer, because obviously, you don't want to not... Like, you don't want to just have, like, oh, look, it's a multicultural cast, but then not acknowledge different cultures, because then it's like you're only half-assing it. But
And
then...
you're assimilating them like the Borg.
Right, but then, like, so what's the balance between, like, representing a culture without the character's interests becoming fully stereotypical? And I don't have a good answer.
Well, I
'cause
think the answer is in Firefly, which is adopt some of their language for casual use and never show any of the people
There
from
you
the
go.
original culture.
Done.
And call women whores a lot.
I just think it does. I think it stands out because we don't see a lot of Earth cultural representation
True.
in Star Trek.
True.
You know, they don't spend a lot of time with Bashir's whatever the fuck he is. You know, I'm guessing he's. I mean, so
Isn't he playing an English character?
yeah, but
I know that his background is
but his
not...
name is also Bashir. So
Yeah,
Well,
which I think-
there's a large Indian population in England,
true.
right? So I guess that's kind of what I assumed. But I mean, also
yeah, and I
maybe
feel
that's racist. I don't know.
We'll
I
eventually
think
meet
he's
his
of
parents,
Lebanese
too.
or Syrian descent. I'm not sure, but
The actor.
City?
Yeah.
Or no, he's Sudanese.
Oh, he's Sudanese.
Well, whatever he is, he's perfect and beautiful.
Either way, they don't spend a lot of time with his culture. They don't spend a lot of like there was Avery Brooks had an African mask and
Yeah, recently too. That was pretty recent.
Oh, was that this? Or was that?
That was
might have been
last
last
week.
week.
It's before.
Oh, right. When he was bringing all the stuff home, and him and Jake had that
from-
moment where they're
when
like,
they
"When did
returned
this
from the
become
Defiant.
home?" That
As soon
was
as you
insane.
brought-
We forgot
as
to
soon
talk
as you
about
brought
it.
all that crap on into the house. Wow, Jake.
So the
wow.
fact that they make such a big deal about Keiko's Japanese culture, like it is one of her defining qualities. It just stands out. Is all.
Yeah. It's like I said, I don't have a good answer. Like, what's the right level?
Yeah, I
That
don't
would
think
make
it's
me
bad
feel
or
like-
good. It just stands out. Is all.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say though that it was a bit much having after in their post-coital scene having Miles wearing wooden shoes.
That's because he's part Dutch, you racist.
Jesus Christ, what is
The
happening?
potato sack he was wearing. That really stood out.
That's actually just a part of their kink. It's a
Oh
whole.
my.
He pretends to be a vegetable thing. It's really weird.
No,
She
Not that-
pretends he's her salad.
He doesn't have to act much, does he? Anyway, I think
Baked potatoes.
I think we're heading out of the House of Quark.
Yes.
Or now it can just be called House.
Of Grilka. That's gotta be bad for your teeth.
It's also bad for the fucking sound of the podcast, Jake.
And I bet those little...
These have been cleaned recently.
I watched them, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, still, I wouldn't put that...
So yes, from the House of Grilka to Equilibrium. And no, I don't mean the Christian Bale movie.
Is there a Christian Bale movie called Equilibrium?
There is. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, if you're not... If as long as we're sure.
I was very sure until I said it, and then I was less sure. But if there is, Sean Bean is in it, and guess what? He doesn't last long.
Oh, man. Sean Bean just dies in movies all the
So
time. What's up with
frequently.
that?
I saw a thing recently where somebody actually did the math, and turns out Nicolas Cage dies more in movies than Sean Bean.
Yeah, interesting.
Like, proportionally?
I don't know about proportionally, just
Oh.
in total.
Like, do they
In
mean...
total.
So he's died in 100 movies and Sean Bean's died in 80, but it
Nick
died...
Cage has been in
didn't-
a lot of movies.
That's what I was
Well,
thinking.
so is Sean
like,
Bean.
it's-
I haven't read. I didn't read past the headline, so don't ask me details.
And yes, it's from 2002, and yeah, Christian Bale, Equilibrium.
What's
But
up
this
with-
is
Oh,
the
is that
Christian
the one?
Bale again?
Is that the
He's
one with
Batman,
with
right?
Gun Kata?
It is.
Oh, that was so dumb. It was okay. So this was a mix of 2000. So this is post Matrix.
9/11. Oh.
I was also going to say
It's
9/11.
post 9/11 and post Matrix, where every movie had to have like bullet time and crazy
Yeah.
fucking bullet and gun acrobatics. And they're like, well, what if we took that and brought it to its natural conclusion where there's a martial art? Like we combine martial arts with gunplay and we call it gun kata.
I'm sorry.
And it's horrible.
Yeah, no,
The
I
movie
saw like
ain't bad. Just gun kata is the stupidest
I
thing
saw
on
like the
planet.
first 15 minutes once, and the fight choreography is the dumbest thing you've ever seen.
It's well choreographed though. It's
but it
dumb,
does, but you
it's
watch
well
it, you're
done.
like, no one would do this. This is asinine.
They're doing it well, but why are they doing it?
Anyway, Deep Space Nine
Oh,
Equilibrium
yeah.
involves no gun kata.
If you're not watching hard enough, if you're not seeing it though.
So in Equilibrium, Ben Sisko has invited the senior staff over for some genuine New Orleans cooking.
Too much detail, Chris. Speed this up.
He specifically excluded O'Brien, though. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, yeah. O'Brien wasn't there, and for some reason, neither Jadzia nor Bashir thought to bring civilian clothes. Well, Jadzia was just... Anyway, point is, While they're there, Jadzia starts plinking on Jake's Casio and is like, wait a minute, I don't have any musical talent, but now I'm plunking out this tune, and it has given me the crabs. Oh, no, not that. I meant, it turned her crabby, not, that, yeah. Not what I meant.
I'm assuming you planned this.
No, this is a
It's
live...
actually Bashir that gave
Sorry.
her the crap.
Thank you, Jake.
So
Jake fixed it
anyway,
for you.
she plays the tune, and from there on, for like next 24 hours, she's in a terrible mood. She accuses Cisco of cheating at chess. She like calls Kira stupid, and then she has an hallucination and thinks, oh, maybe something's wrong with me. And they scan her, and it's like, oh, your chemicals are all off, and she's all like, I'm so full of rage. So they decide
That was too much emotion.
They decide to go to the Trill homeworld to have the doctors there check her out. And they're all like, everything's all awry, but we'll try giving you these treatments and yada yada. And also go meet the weird pasty man who lives in the soup cave.
The Trill caves.
Yeah, these big pools of soup that the Trill live in.
Milky soup.
It's just like fucking turds floating in a bowl, man.
Yeah.
That are occasionally electrified.
And she just keeps getting worse, and
Electropoops.
she keeps having hallucinations, and they're all like, what's going on? And what went on is that it turns out at some point the Dax symbiote was given to a host who it probably should not have been, and they realized this, and they took it out of him, or he died. It was a little vague. But basically, the realization they had was, oh shit, way more people can bond with symbionts than we ever thought. If this fact gets out, it will destroy our society.
Like 5 times more people, literally, right? It was like in the
Yeah, they said it was
single digits.
Like-
They said it was like 1 out of 100.
But now it's like half.
half the population.
Realistically, it's half.
50 times.
And that, like, there would just never be enough symbionts to meet the demand.
Yeah, which is like
and-
why when in that other fucking stupid episode with Varad, I think, who was the asshole who stole the Dax symbiote, and Dax symbiote.
Invasive procedures.
That's the one. And we were like, wow, he should have gone crazy, because that's what happens when you're not fit for a symbiont. And you realize, this explains it. Thanks,
Yeah.
episode.
Well, I do feel like there was some reference to that, and like when they ring up this guy's brother, this heretofore unknown host,
Crazy old senile man.
and he talks about when his brother
It seemed
called
like he
him.
was played by a young guy pretending to be
Yeah, it
old,
was
but he
weird.
still looked old.
Yeah, it was strange.
I'm playing an old man.
No
Jameson?
mistake.
But
Yes.
he talks about like when his brother called, he seemed different, more confident, colder. I was like, wow, this kind of feels like that guy.
Varad?
Yeah.
Or the Dax symbiote.
Well, the Dax symbiote
Yes.
in Varad. But anyway, so basically they work all this out, and Cisco goes to the Trill peeps like, look, I don't care about your I'll keep your damn secret. Just fix Dax. And so now they had to undo whatever they'd done so that the host didn't know about this previous guy. She gets into a pool. She sees a vision of him. They hug. And so now she's got this host who, by the way, might have killed someone. It was a little vague.
No, he
kill
did.
someone.
What was
Okay.
vague was whether or not he killed them because of the botched whatever. I don't know. But he definitely did.
I don't think the thing was botched is the thing. I think he got the symbiont, but happened to be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Not
was
crazy.
already.
He happened to be a jackass and
Yeah.
a murderous
Well,
bitch.
yeah, he had a rage problem.
Yeah, he would not have been compliant to a Trill if the whole compliance to Trill thing were real.
Yeah.
But it's very convoluted.
Well, yeah.
Because there's biological, like, I always thought that the other thing was like, oh, it's like a biological issue. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, if you're not one of the...
It's like if you get a blood transfusion of the wrong type of blood or some shit.
Yeah, so, like, I never thought, like, I thought, yeah, it was a small percentage of people that had the blood type, say, to be able to receive a...
Well, I assume there always had to be at least some psychological element.
But that was, I thought, was more like something that the training and being an initiate and all that was just to weed out those people.
Oh, yeah.
So it just sounds like if anything, my assumption would be that, yeah, this guy slipped through the cracks of that system and managed to get a symbiont,
Yeah.
despite being a
Unsuitable
nutcase.
psychologically.
Yeah. It was kind of a leap for me to be like, oh, because this guy was mentally unstable to deal with it, or really just shouldn't have had it because he was already a rageaholic, it doesn't mean that it was a big leap to say, well, this would prove that anybody could have a symbiont.
Yeah, I did feel like there was a step missing in there.
And it just felt like it was resolved so goddamn quickly in the last minute or two of the episode.
Yeah, they probably could have spent less time on
Wait,
something.
wasn't it partly because he had it for like 6 months instead of like 4 days, and that's why they thought it probably meant more people could do it?
No, because their explanation was that the reason why it's still not even clear to me, but like, if you're not, they tell people that if you're not a compatible host,
You and the symbiont will die within days.
But this guy lasted 6 months.
And would probably have continued lasting if he didn't get killed, die, was executed. It's unclear what happened to him, except that he's dead.
Well, yeah, my assumption has been that after he murdered the doctor, that like they
shoved it under the rug and got him killed.
They removed the symbiont,
Which would have killed him.
Which would have killed him, and gave it to Curzon instead, who was able to handle it.
Yeah, and then changed so when did they change the date of death of Torias, the Dax host that's currently assumed to be the host before Curzon?
They just, that was all part of this big cover-up. They changed the database to say that this guy lived longer than he did. They deleted the other guy. And then they also had to do a memory wipe on the symbiont.
Or
like
block.
a memory block.
What I wonder is, like, did they block it from the symbiont as well, or did they find a way to block it from the
Jadzia
host?
They'll make it so that the host can't.
Well, then they'd have to do it. They'd have to do it
That's a
to
good
every
question.
single host along the line, though.
That maybe had been the plan.
No, I think they only did it it was something that they did to the symbiont because the whole point was that the block had broken down after 80 years.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I feel like every episode we see that tries to give us more backstory on the Trill just becomes more and more confusing. I've dubbed these the put Jadzia on a table episodes.
Yeah,
because she's always like naked under a table.
We want to do some Dax character development, but we don't really want Terry Farrell to talk a lot. so let's make her unconscious for half the episode.
See, I feel bad because I feel like she was actually pretty good in this. There were moments where
there was a moment in the chess scene that I was like, oh, at the end of the chess scene,
Well,
when
she was,
flips the chess table.
Oh, you're right. When I also noted. Okay, yes, go on, Ames. I'm really sorry. I interrupted you.
No, that's all I had to say. Was
She
when she flips the chess
she's
table.
like,
we're
you're cheating me, Benjamin, and that was fine. But then she gently brushed the chess pieces off
I feel
and
like
stormed away.
I feel like there'd maybe been an earlier take where she shoved them too hard and they had to
like-
spend 20 minutes looking for a pawn.
And it was in
Because one
Cisco's
nerd would
nose
know.
the whole time.
One nerd would say, "Oh, from last shot to this shot, the pieces are different."
It was very wimpy. I think the problem was she went for the two-hand, and I think to make it look good,
A brush.
she needs to do one arm in which she brushes all the pieces
Or
in the
flip the
direction of the
table.
camera or something, and that's okay. But doing the Benjamin.
Although it does explain to us, it's wow, they're playing real chess instead of 3D chess. Because you can't do that to 3D chess.
Yeah, you can. You just
Some
pick
of
it up and throw it across
But you
the
can't
room.
do they clearly wanted her to do a brush.
Yeah, you could. It's just a board, right? You could just fucking brush the whole thing
But
off.
yeah, but then you have to go to multiple level and it just looks like a cat batting at a string.
No, I think if you take out the bottom, the whole thing will fall.
Well, if they don't want to throw the whole board, that would destroy the board. And that's their one problem.
She's
Just
mad,
tip
Chris.
it.
She's really angry.
Yeah, again, we're talking real world concerns versus in world concerns.
The real world
I've had
concern
enough.
is she can't act.
See, I disagree because I think the scene where she's sitting there with Julian and she's basically scared shitless that she's gonna die, and I felt like that came through pretty well.
You see,
I feel like there are
is that the
certain
one on the Defiant?
Yeah.
There are
See-
certain emotions that are easier to act. Just doing normal acting, there's a knack to looking normal as your character versus a knack to looking scared.
See, I don't know if it's just because of the way that scene was written, but I kept feeling like, oh, it's going to turn out that her old host was also a sex guy, and she just wants to get laid now.
I wasn't getting that at all.
I was getting that when she came in. I was
I
like,
felt like she just
Why
looked
else would she
really
go to Bashir?
concerned.
why did she go to Bashir's room in the middle of the night?
Because
Why
he's
wouldn't
her
she-
friend.
Why wouldn't she go to Benjamin, who's actually her friend?
Well, was he also on the Reliant at the time?
Yes, they were both
Defiant.
on their way.
What did I
to
say?
Trill.
Whatever, same fucking thing.
Like,
Not
I was-
even
when
remotely.
she pops
Because
into
she-
Julian's office, the first thing I'm like is oh shit, it's just Julian's fucking dream.
Maybe she's still embarrassed by how she was treating Benjamin.
Maybe.
I would be. But also I think because maybe Benjamin would be like, suck it up, old man.
Well,
Go
I was
back
gonna say,
to
I
bed.
think-
And Bashir is like, oh, I'm
Well,
the
that's-
boner, you're in my room, you're such a good.
I mean, you're kind
in
of
my room.
kidding, but you might be hitting on it. It's like, this is Jadzia going to someone, not Dax. Dax would go to Benjamin, whereas Sisko's not Jadzia's peer. He's Dax's peer. So Jadzia's peer is Bashir.
Bashir.
Oh, maybe.
That's interesting.
I could buy that.
That's fine.
I don't know.
But yeah,
wow,
just-
did I say that? Cool.
But yeah, just anything that involves
You
the
planted
Trill
the seed.
becomes very, very
Just
confusing.
like Julian wanted to do.
Yeah, an issue I had with this episode had nothing to do with everything else, but just every other Trill we saw was obviously wearing makeup. Did anyone else feel like that?
Yeah, they
like the
kinda
spots looked really fake.
They half-assed
Yeah.
the makeup, especially
Like-
the doctor woman.
Yeah,
like her
hers
spots are really big. And
There was
like,
one point where I swear you can see that her collar smeared one of them.
Oof.
Like they
that's-
really because obviously, yeah, you look at it and you know logically it's makeup, but like these ones looked like makeup.
See, I wonder though if like it could be that, because I have to imagine, I've never checked episode to episode, but I'm
Is it
assuming
the same stencil?
like, are they using a stencil for Jadzia because she's on screen every week? They don't want to have the spots look different, so maybe they
She's
just
a cheetah. She can change her spots.
maybe they just have like some kind of like stencil that
Thought
they
cheetahs
like
couldn't
spray
do that.
on.
I mean, there was probably some kind of stencil or photo reference or something, but I remember reading an interview years ago, and there was still a hand application process.
Did you see it goes down to her feet?
Oh no, I didn't.
Her feet were spotty.
Oh wow.
And that must have been a weird day in the makeup room to getting your feet painted.
Oh,
I
so
always
ticklish.
assumed that it would go down, it would like spread out,
go around
down,
the boobs.
go down, and then under, and then up the asshole.
It's a happy trail to the vajay in the
No,
asshole.
I think it goes up the butthole.
I hope so.
And if you stick out your tongue, there's spots on the tongue too, and that's actually where it ends.
After you lick the asshole, or just in general?
No. It goes all the way through your digestive
Oh,
system.
interesting.
All the way into your mouth, onto your tongue.
But yes,
No,
aside
it's
from
not. It's
Jadzia,
awful.
the spots were bad.
I thought Bilar looked good.
Did you get a
Which
look at
one
their
was-
butthole?
which one
Duran
was-
Bilar, we only really see him well at the very, very end when he's in the
Oh,
pool.
the other host. Yes. Yeah, his were fine.
Yeah. The
But-
resolution.
Yeah, the
was
rest of his
weird.
outfit was horrible. Looking like the fucking cheap plastic space Phantom of the Opera up in there.
Oh, wow.
That was dumb.
No, it's actually hilarious. Like I read where this episode came from in terms of idea wise, and apparently Michael Piller had gone and seen a magic show featuring Jeff Magnus McBride, who they brought in
Yeah, wait a minute.
to play this guy
Okay.
because he does magic acts that involve masks.
I see.
So they said, let's do a I keep saying TNG DS9. Let's do a DS9 episode with this guy doing a mask thing, and they say, okay, do we want to be the circus comes to town? No, that's a bad idea. Let's not do that.
Let's do one where let's do one where they have like, what if they had like an alien artifact that got like everybody to have masks?
Yep, done.
And like started turning the station into
I'm here
like,
for this.
like an ancient alien.
Can we get Brett
like-
Spiner into this somehow?
Yes.
Yeah, but the other
He already
idea...
did masks in
That's the-
TNG.
That's
That
the
was-
joke,
yeah,
Jake. is
That was the
going.
joke.
Oh,
Then
sorry.
the other idea was, what if this is an Odo story and we're learning things in his dreams? To which I first say, Odo dreams? That's new. But then
What
they
was that
decided.
episode?
Well, maybe he
Didn't
does-
Troy have a weird dream episode too?
I think she had a couple. But
There's
see,
a lot.
you can explain that as his, now that he kind of understands better the nature of being one of his
Rock and a
people.
bird.
Like suddenly he
Pokemon.
dreams and stuff. So that
Well,
could
they
have
did-
grown
They
naturally.
did that with Data, though.
True, they
No,
did.
We don't need that in Birthright, I think. But then they decided, okay, let's make this a Jadzia story because it's already like her character has these layers, like the mask trick that the guy
Yeah, I
does.
was like, oh, I see what she
Yeah,
did there. That
that's
was
what they
subtle.
did. But that's why they did this, and they decided. I think it took them a while to find a story in the idea.
All for the sake of a mask gimmick they liked.
I thought the mask gimmick looked cool.
Yeah.
It
but-
did,
cool.
but as far as like you said, it's just such an unsubtle metaphor. I'm not gonna lie, I never thought I'd say this. I think the circus comes to town was maybe the better option.
I was expecting when she witnessed the murder in her hallucination.
Yeah.
I kept expecting the mask to get pulled off and it to be her face.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a,
me
like
too.
a Luke Skywalker kind of deal.
Well, she
Yeah.
did really wanted to find out how murderating a Klingon would make her feel. So that would
That's
fit.
true.
That would fit for her character.
So she does know what murdering feels like, It's just been repressed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought that the resolution also, like I mentioned that everything came together in the last 2 minutes. Well, the whole thing with her going into the pool
Oh yeah.
and getting shocked by the other
And having,
symbiont.
yeah, and that being the thing that awakens the memories.
And then she hugs the ghost.
Yeah.
Part of me, or whatever the fuck she said.
God,
Yeah, it was
damn it.
weird.
Yeah, weird ending. I was also confused. So Cisco figures out the ruse. Figures out, okay, this has been a giant troll conspiracy all along. Bashir helped. Thanks, Bashir. We're gonna go public with this news if you don't save Jadzia. For the entire episode, there was no way to save Jadzia. Why does he assume there is one now? Just because he has information.
Well,
Because Trill might have been lying and trying to kill her so that the truth couldn't get out.
Exactly.
Because if they
How
admitted
would you
that they
think
knew,
this, though?
but if they admitted they knew how to fix her, that would mean that they were admitting that they knew what happened and they were trying to hide it.
Still, she could easily have just been dying from the thing naturally.
I mean, I guess, but
I just...
Well, anyway, that's my opinion on what.
Yeah,
why
that,
they
I
fix
could
her was because they were lying and saying.
I could see that being his thought process, just being like, "You could have fixed this the whole time, but you have your conspiracy." But yeah, that was funny. That scene with him and Bashir coming in and kind of good cop, bad copping, or it did feel very like end of like any sort of insert your favorite crime drama thing here, where there's like
Monk.
sort of the lead detective and then the sidekick that gets to occasionally talk. So like Cisco's Monk and Bashir's the bosomy blonde woman.
Is she bosomy?
I don't remember.
Bosomy.
Oh, I don't remember her being bosomy.
The second
Because there were
one
two of
was-
them, right?
Monk
Yeah.
being bosomy.
The best description I ever heard of that was Monk, everyone's parents' favorite show.
It's
Monk.
true.
Well, the thing, I like the episodes I saw.
You've said that before.
Well, it's not my line. I've seen it. I've read it.
Chris is like, oh yes, that's right. I am the brilliant
No,
mind
no.
who penned that.
It's not mine.
It still would have been funny if you were like, oh yes, I did, didn't I?
But yeah, I'm not Bashir.
That's the thing. I think Cisco would have been the sidekick.
Well, but he was taking the lead on the accusation front.
He would have been the hawk to Bashir's Spencer,
See what you
What
did
show
there.
was that?
Spencer for Hire, where he played the character Hawk.
who was the sidekick of the lead character.
You're great. So we see the pools where the symbionts live.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that are they symbionts that they're recently bred? Do these baby symbionts that are waiting for hosts?
That's why I was a little.
Who are these?
That's why I was a
people?
little unclear on. Like, I wonder if it can also be like a holding pen for like a symbiont if there isn't a candidate ready.
I don't fucking know.
Maybe it's
But
retirement
they say
home for old symbionts. That are
they
no
say
longer...
immediately when they think Jadzia's about to kick it, get ready the next host.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm guessing that they were maybe like the younglings.
Mm.
You know, that like before they get implanted for the first time, they have to live in the pool for a while.
Unclear. It's weird. I'm sure Timur, the guy that guards them down there in their pool wasteland, is doing inappropriate things
Oh,
with
yeah, he's
them.
definitely jerking off into the pool. Did you see how milky that water was?
Yeah. See, I like it.
Oh no, that explains it.
After
The
she-
jizz concentration is too
after-
high in
after
here.
she- after she
They're
gets
not
out of
happy.
After Jadzia gets out of the pool, he's like, you're on the pill, I hope, right?
Oh no! Eek.
So, actual question.
You're probably right though.
Yikes. So we have this pool full of worms.
Mhm.
And
soup.
Oh, yeah, soupy worms. They can communicate with each other by electric zapping each other.
Yep.
How did we ever learn how to communicate with them in the first place? Other than, let's see what happens when we put these things in our pouch.
I don't know, evolution. It's weird.
Because, Timur's just watching them like, oh, yeah, they get feisty when you don't feed them right or something. It's like, Jesus Christ, these are actually like these things are your pets.
Yeah, but you're assuming also, though, that it was always humanoid trills and...
Worm trills. Symbionts.
Like, for all we know, it was the worm, the worms probably came first, or they came at the same time. And,
they evolved together kind of a thing?
Yeah, or like
Yeah,
the
the
earlier forms of the Trill humanoids were like...
The original symbionts were probably just a fucking parasite.
Well, that's what I think. I think they're still
I
parasites.
think that's-
Oh,
Well, yes,
absolutely.
I think they clearly are pretty weak on their own.
Yeah.
They
And
can't live very well.
And we've talked about, are they, like, how sentient, or sapient, I guess is the better term. How sapient are the symbionts? Or are they literally just a way to keep the memories of past hosts alive?
I think they've got to be more than just a hard drive.
How? Why? Why do you say that? Where is your proof?
I don't know.
I don't know if the Dax symbiont is literally just Curzon plus Tobias. I forget the rest of them. Torias plus the other one plus whoever else was there. There's like 8 of them now.
You're not
And
Torias.
Varad's in there
Torias
now,
is
too.
dead.
Varad had him for a day. Yeah,
Yeah, it's unclear. I think they probably are sapient, but I just don't think that because that's what they're they're talking to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the cats talk to each other. Birds talk to each other.
well,
you
that's
hear
the
them every
thing.
fucking morning.
And
That's
mostly
true.
they're just saying, who wants to fuck?
That's true.
or this is my tree, piss off.
But I do think they need to.
You find your own
I
tree.
don't know that the consciousness, if there is a consciousness of the symbiont, communicates with the consciousness of the host. Like the host.
This is complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know if do the hosts have conversations in their heads with their symbionts? I don't
No.
No, I don't think so.
It's a meld. It's a merging, they say.
I think it's
yeah,
more
but the
of
merge,
like
but the
a
result
memory
of the
dump.
yeah, the result of the merge is a memory dump, but it's only of the previous hosts.
But all of the previous hosts.
But all the previous hosts.
Well, yeah, but also Dax is in all of them.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. It seems like
Dax,
they...
I don't think has a personality of its own.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
I think the personality of
talk
Dax
about-
is the amalgamation of the personalities.
Yeah,
of
that's
the
what I
hosts.
was-
Well, yeah, but don't they talk about how... Isn't there an episode where they talk about how part of the reason why people are weeded out is because their personality is, like, too weak to battle the...
I don't know. I feel like this episode entirely upends that and says,
Well, yeah,
says that's not even a thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also think though that it's like, yeah, there are people that are weak personalities. I just think it's that they would be overshadowed by the personalities
that came before,
that
not...
came before.
I see.
I think you give those people the fresh ones. It's like, hey, this one never had anyone before.
Yeah,
You
well,
take
like
it.
Varad,
weaky.
right? Like he was a fucking pissant,
Yeah.
and his whole personality changed once he got the symbiont because Dax is a very, we're told anyway that Dax is a very confident, assertive.
Okay.
Yeah. We
so
hear the same thing about Jadzia. We hear like that she was kind of shy and nerdy and whatever else, and it seems to be not fully like the character that we see in the show, who has this level of confidence about herself enough.
Well, old man, what's his fuck, also said the same thing about his brother.
Yeah, the game's totally changed. Is it possible then that rather than a personality, symbionts have some kind of particular personality trait boost, like you're adding 6 to charisma? Some symbionts have
cute.
lots of charisma, some symbionts have like
The Dax
archery, I don't know. Like
the Dax symbiont adds 20 to horny.
yeah, exactly.
the-
That's
the-
what-
Which you gotta figure, how much of a loser was that one host that even the Dax symbiont couldn't get him to like go get laid?
But the other thing though is not only do you get like stat buffs, there's also nerfs. So like if you get like one with a like a low speech or low intelligence, like even if you're very smart beforehand, you just turn into a moron once you get planted.
Brilliant. I love this thing.
I'm just saying this could be it. This might be what it is.
We've
I
solved
like
the
it.
problem.
I mean, I think what it comes down to is I feel like probably even in the writer's room they weren't entirely sure and they kind of left it vague.
Well,
You telling me they wung it?
I believe the term is wanged.
But I was gonna say earlier, I actually quite like the idea though of the Guardians, just these weird little like
Pool boys
that just sit there like they get
checking
on.
the pH on the pool.
They forget how to people because they deal with worms all day. Like I love
What's it
when
like outside? Is it sunny? I'll never see the sun again.
sunshine. But I also have like,
God, what a weirdo.
may I ask what you're doing? Oh, of course.
Ugh.
What are you
And
doing?
And then Bashir drowns him in the pool.
In his own gross jizzy soup.
Oh my god, that's not his jizz.
It is.
It's fucking miso. They love miso.
The symbionts, oh my god, the symbionts are just sperms that have been to the Genesis planet.
And the gym.
Well, here's a...
There's
Chris
there's
is
a-
so upset.
There was a good line where they're talking about, oh no, what if Jadzia rejects the symbiont? Oh no, that would be terrible. And Bashir tells her, I wouldn't worry about the rejection just yet. That's my job. Bashir out.
Yeah, I don't know. This episode Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Just it didn't do anything for me.
We learned that Bashir hates beets.
Oh yeah.
In the original script, it was going to be rutabagas, but they thought beets was funnier. But I think rutabagas is hilarious.
But here's the thing, though: rutabagas don't taste like anything. No,
Also,
I'm thinking of the other ones. What are the
turnips?
No,
Turnips?
like
Don't
white
taste
carrots.
like
Aren't
much
rutabagas kind of
No.
like white carrots?
No, that's
turnips are like
No, it's not a turnip. You know what it is.
Parsnip.
potatoes.
Parsnip.
A parsnip.
What?
It's
wait a
funny.
minute.
I know someone who is allergic to carrots.
What is a
To
rutabaga?
carrots.
But she can have parsnips.
Wow.
How do you spell rutabaga?
You know that carrots weren't always orange.
Rutabaga.
No, that was because of some king or another.
Yeah,
And it's a
the
root
king of
vegetable.
orange.
What a fucking
But yeah, no, she's
clever
talking about the
job
fact that she has to.
Oh yeah, these things.
Let me see.
I think most people, I'll tell you why I think beets are funnier, because I couldn't draw that picture to my face to know what a rutabaga was. I couldn't even picture what a rutabaga looked like.
Oh, that's a root. I thought that was a beet.
Them's
Yeah,
rutabagas.
It looks like a beet.
It's a rutabaga.
Also, though, I think like beets are very stereotypical of like a thing that people are
Yeah, you don't like
Like,
beets.
particularly children.
like beets and Brussels sprouts are like the two things that
Yeah, they're sort of stereotypical.
You know, beets look more like all red radishes.
Yeah.
I put some radishes in this special dirt and they came
Shut
up
up,
all
child.
weird.
You're the worst. My very, very last note is the episode title should have been
What just
Earworm.
happened?
Wait, what? Say the joke again. I missed it.
Nope.
I was trying to
you had one
answer.
try.
All right.
That's good.
Should have called it
Here,
earworms.
end the episode. We're not fucking topping that.
Hang on, these beats are important.
I thought that it was nice that Jadzia was like, "Oh yeah, I fucking love them." He's like, "Oh, do you like beets?" And she's like, "Yeah, love them, bitch."
I love them just because you don't. Haha.
So Cisco cooked the beets, right? I'm assuming he cooked. Yeah.
Do you
'cause he
think?
Yeah.
Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
Are they beets by Ben?
Oh no, I was gonna ask if.
I don't get it.
I was gonna ask if he
like-
dropped the Beats, like Beats by Dre. It's a headphone
headphones.
brand by Dr. Dre.
Oh, since we've kept going anyway. Odo attempting to stir.
Oh my god, where he was just
moving
spinning
the
the
bowl.
bowl. Oh, I loved it.
And Kira called him
cute.
Oh.
You think he was like, I'm cute, and like flew around the room a little?
He turned into a hawk, did a couple
Man.
flips.
Yeah.
He won't be able to return to his liquid form that night.
He just turned into a liquid form in his pants. You kidding me?
His pants are just him.
Oh, well, that's disgusting. He just jizzed in himself. It's
Man.
weird. That ain't right. I'm glad that, like, the only thing I really ever have to offer this show is just really disgusting blue jokes. Like, I'm just like, yeah, man, Star Trek. How about some jizz? Nice, cool.
I do. It would have been nice though to actually see a sort of a fuller like
Look at his
them
boner. Oh,
chilling
sorry.
out, having a meal together scene.
Without
There
O'Brien.
already was.
I wonder if they didn't invite O'Brien because of Keiko. Like, he would have insisted she come.
No,
She was already gone by that point.
Yeah, but she'd be like, "Oh, they're having a party. Well, it's only
I
3
could zoom
hours." Yeah, they'll zoom into the fucking beat party.
But yeah, I do think it was funny though that they like only characters we've seen in civilian clothes before still have them.
I didn't even notice.
Like I get that Dax had just got off work, but Bashir was there in full uniform, and it
She
was
would
like,
have also gotten off work.
yeah, I guess so. But because Kira was in civilian clothes, but is that outfit they already had for her because it was the one she wore when she went to chill at the monastery with Father What a Waste.
Is that what she wore?
I only remember because she has the weird like very loosely knit like duster.
No, see, I can only
like the
picture her
duster.
in her I'm pretending to be a prostitute costume.
I forgot about that one.
I was thinking of her Mirror Universe costume.
Nice.
With her tinfoil, rolled up tinfoil crown.
I think she was thinking more of the pleather ass.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's a good. She got good.
Kira's hot,
yeah,
man.
she's good.
Kira's hot. I'm into it. All right. You know what else I'm into?
What?
Moving on from this episode
Okay.
so we can go about the rest of our
Let's
days.
do it.
Not that there's really anything to do, so we're all stuck inside.
The clock has stopped moving, by the way.
It needs new batteries.
Is it new batteries or is it stuck?
Maybe it's died. Maybe it's
It might
finally...
be stuck. No, it might be stuck on the.
We've ignored it twice, so it's finally just like, fuck it. Well, anyway, next week we're going to talk about 2 more episodes of a Star Thing, Deep Space Thing.
Yep.
Okay.
And they're going to be Second Skin and The Abandoned.
Woo!
Cool.
Is the second skin about the foreskin, do we think, or...
Oh, I know what the second skin's about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Don't tell, I don't want to be spoiled.
It's about the third skin. It's the one in between second skin and the foreskin.
Oh, so it's like subskin.
This is what happens when Odo jizzes inside himself.
Nailed it! Oh, boy, I just fucking... That thing that I just did, I just
Shrill.
laughed like a fucking kettle. I don't know what the hell that was. But anyway, if you like what you heard, and I don't mean my shrill kettle
Chris is
scream,
just
I just mean
shaking
the
his head.
episode. You can find us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Facebook by giving us a little searchy search, a star to steer her by. We are at SSHB Podcast on Tumblr and Twitter. You can also visit our website, sshbpodcast.com. It's just really a link to the Tumblr for now, but someday... After it's wrapped itself in a cocoon and waited a few months, it's going to emerge a beautiful butterfly. Or it'll just be fucking Tumblr, whatever. But you should check out the Tumblr, because there's lots of fun writings there. We got the fanfics, we got articles about dickhead admirals, and...
You plug this every week, and then I just feel bad that we haven't added anything in a while.
Well,
We
fucking
have articles
do
that
it.
were written 4 years ago.
You write something.
No, I don't want to.
Well, then, shut up.
You were
Fine,
gonna write us
I'll write-
love poetry.
Yeah,
from
but-
O'Brien to Keiko.
Yeah, but it was just going to be James Joyce's letters.
Do
I
it.
wasn't... No, but I was literally just going to read James Joyce's letters. I wasn't actually going to really write anything. I was going to write Keiko instead of Nora. That was going to be the extent.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I'm just trying to explain to Ames why that's not a good idea.
I think you should write some custom letters, though.
You want me to write some actual
Change an occasional word to be more O'Brien appropriate.
potatoes?
Instead
Well, they were written by James Joyce, so
instead
potatoes
of,
probably
instead of
already in
fart
there.
in my face, right? Feed me potatoes.
Quaff in my mouth. You quaffed in my face.
Wow.
That's
Kristen
Canadian.
cut all
Please
of
end this episode.
Anyway, we'll be back next week. I've been Caitlin.
I'm Jake.
This has been Chris.
This is always Ames.
Rule of acquisition number 286. When Morn leaves, you know the night's over.
It's
not a
all
real rule.
over.
It is now, or something.
It should be.
It should be. Whatever. I don't know. I just wrote down the acquisition
No,
rule.
the response is stabs Rom repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, that's right.